Do you have a song in your head? Do you have a riff you're thinking about, or are you just going?
I think tonight was Beat It. I was playing Michael Jackson in my head tonight, so Beat It got me going tonight.
The energy is always good in this building. I've had some great years in this building, and I look forward to coming back and playing in this building some more. So, but the energy is always good. The fans has always been good. The fans has always, been good to me too. This is home. New York is home. My family is here. Friends is here.
Yeah, man, it's the business of basketball. I was a part of something in Philadelphia where it's kind of the same thing, where it felt like everything was close, and all of a sudden, everybody's gone. So I feel like you just kind of have to roll with the punches.
Beat the Warriors both times they faced them last year. They didn't have Steph Curry in those games. How different is it with the way he's been playing coming into tonight?
You think they remember that? I hope they don't remember that.
Well, they didn't have Steph last year. Tonight, no Victor Oladipo. He underwent successful surgery today to repair the quad that he injured last week. Tonight, the team has handed out these T-shirts together for Vic. Nate McMillan telling us just before the game he spoke to Victor Oladipo, and his spirits are very good right now as he recovers from that injury. Tyreke Evans, who had been replacing Victor Oladipo in the starting lineup, he's out tonight. No Draymond Green for the Warriors. He's resting. Jordan Bell gets the start. And now starting for us, Anthony Slater from the Athletic, Warriors beat reporter. You know him well. Slater, let's look at this 10-game win streak and project it forward as the Warriors go back home and the schedule gets a bit easier. But how much longer does this thing go right now, do you think?
I think tonight's a danger, actually. It's a game they actually circled before the trip as the trap game. They came off an emotional night in Boston the other night. They haven't been home in about 10 days. Now the Oladipo news, taking him out of the lineup maybe lessens the chance they get upset tonight, but no Draymond Green, he's resting. I think it's dangerous tonight, but if we predict they win tonight, I think it's going to go on a little while. I'm looking, actually, you don't have it there, but February 13th, after that Utah game at Portland, right before the All-Star.
So you have it going 16 games.
I can see it. Their offensive rating on this streak is 125.1. I mean, it's unbelievable.
I'm not a math guy, Slater.
Yeah.
Draymond Green, DeMarcus Cousins, 4 games so far. Are you able to kind of get a feel for projecting his playoff impact?
I think the biggest thing I've seen so far is the power rebounding. I've never seen a Warriors center just rebound the way he has because they haven't had a center that has.
Right.
And, it's offensive rebounding. And it's the skill, too, stretching. He hit 3 threes in his first game. That was the first time a Warriors had a starting center hit 3 threes since, I think it was 2010. So he's going to help them. Now, how much is he targeted defensively? You really saw the Celtics go at him the other night in Boston, Kyrie Irving. And they exploited him early, so I'm interested to see how much he could stay on the floor down the stretch against teams like a James Harden that'll really target him.
Real quick here, I know this is a long conversation, but in a short amount of time, are we underappreciating what Steph Curry is doing this season?
Yeah, I think he's near 50% overall. I think he's around 49% overall, but he's like 46% from 3 on very high volume three-point shooting and over 90%. And I think he's the only one ever to go 50, 45, 90. We always talk 50, 40, 90. We're talking 50, 45, 90. And he's doing it efficiently, and he's never been really exploited defensively. He's always sturdy at that spot. And I think if James Harden hadn't had the recent stretch that he's had, we'd really be talking about Steph as a possible, his third-time MVP.
Yeah. You had a really cool note in your observations after the win over the Celtics about Steve Kerr and just putting in perspective, getting to 300 wins at this early stage of his career. So I wanted to point out this note that he had in The Athletic. And also funny how you're saying you're starting to see him like that 73-win season where he's got to nitpick things now.
In D.C. the other night he was – look, it was an 8-point win in D.C. It could have gone a little bit better, but it was still their 9th straight win. They're playing really well, and he was very mad at the starters because they didn't get a big enough lead where you could put they got a couple two-way guys that were from the D.C. area that he really wanted to get in the game, and he was saying our starters are out there not boxing out while our two-way guys are waiting to get in front of family and friends. He was really mad about that. And that just shows you where they're at right now, where he was mad early in the season during losses. Now he's just trying to sharpen wins.
This man knows everything about the Warriors. Check him out on The Athletic. Anthony Slater. Slater, thanks so much for joining us here. We're coming back more live from Bankers Life Fieldhouse, getting you set for Warriors and Pacers on the worldwide premiere of Game Night Monday, live on NBA TV, and we're just moments away. Live from Indy. Here's what's happening as it's happening right now around the NBA. 10 straight going for 11 as the Warriors' long East Coast trip wraps up tonight on NBA TV against the Pacers. Bounce back. Indiana plays its second game since learning Victor Oladipo will be out for the season and suffering a tough loss the other day against the Grizzlies. We're talking with the newsmakers and news reporters with opinion, perspective, and predictions live from Bankers Live Fieldhouse in downtown Indianapolis. This is the Auto Trader pregame show, 10 before tip style. We've taken the show on the road, but we're still the same old 30 minutes you love each and every night, discussing the biggest stories of the day and setting the table for the night in the NBA. Thanks so much for being with us, and we thank the Pacers for having us and this great view live on NBA TV. Well, we will get to the big news of the day and talk plenty of Anthony Davis in a moment. First, want to let you know about what's happening in 30 minutes from now as we welcome you to the world premiere of Game Night Monday right here on NBA TV. Coming up in 30 minutes from now, it's a game broadcast unlike you've ever seen before. We'll have the Warriors and Pacers, a unique view, right here premiering tonight on NBA TV. But as always, as we do on 10 before tip, it is number one. Anthony Davis reps informing the New Orleans Pelicans that not only does Davis not intend to sign the Supermax this summer, Davis has also requested a trade. It's what's happening right now.
He had to do what he had to do for his family, and for him, what's best for his career. So Anthony's always been professional, and he's always been professional with us, and even more so, he's been friends and like a brother. So whatever decision he makes, I can't be upset with him. I know this is a business, but he's doing what's best for him.
I didn't want to imagine it happening, but you know, I mean, the NBA, you know, the things, you know, stuff happens, you know, so you deal with it, and that's what we're doing. We're dealing with, you know, what we have and what's going on here, and that doesn't mean that we're not going to continue to compete and try to turn our season around and see what can happen with it.
That was earlier this afternoon. Drew Holiday and Alvin Gentry meeting the media. Anthony Davis did not speak. However, within the last 2 hours, the Pelicans did release this statement saying Anthony Davis's representatives informed us that Davis does not wish to sign a contract extension with our team and subsequently has requested a trade. Although we are disappointed in this decision, our organization's top priority is to bring an NBA championship to our city and fans and build our team for long-term success. The Pelicans statement continued on saying, relative to specific trade talks, we will do this on our timeline, one that makes sense for our team, and it will not be dictated by those outside our organization. Then they concluded the statement by saying, we also have requested the league to strictly enforce the tampering rules associated with this transaction. Within the last 30 minutes, NBA spokesman Mike Bass has released a statement to members of the media saying that we have commenced an investigation this morning upon reading the reports regarding Anthony Davis. The process is ongoing. We welcome in Vincent Goodwill, a good friend of the program. He writes for Yahoo Sports, and this has been the #1 sports story across the nation today. Let's first talk about these tampering allegations. What exactly do you think the Pelicans are getting at here?
We know what they're getting at, don't we? They're going out to L.A., having a game a couple weeks ago. Anthony Davis having dinner with LeBron James afterwards. Players aren't prohibited from having relationships and interactions with each other, but like you pointed out to me earlier, there's a little bit of legalese. There's a little bit of something there that they can enforce. Clearly, they want this to be done on their timeline, controlling it. They don't have any more control over the process since Anthony Davis has come to them and told them that he does not want to come, but they do not want to be stripped or forced to basically trade him to the Lakers or any other franchise. See where we are now, the Indiana Pacers, then with Paul George and him wanting to go to the Lakers. Where'd they send him? Oklahoma City. Where is he at now? Oklahoma City.
Right. And it's going to be a good case study, too, what happens with Kawhi Leonard in Toronto. If he ends up staying long-term with the Raptors, that could also influence what happens here if indeed Anthony Davis is not traded before the deadline. But let's get to the whole Anthony Davis aspect of this. He is, by all accounts, a good guy. You and I have had interactions with him. We enjoy speaking with him. Very soft-spoken guy. Was the weight of telling his teammates and telling the organization and the fans now, does that outweigh what is coming next? That one of the smallest markets in the NBA is about to lose one of the best players in the league.
Well, I will say this. I don't think it outweighs it because I look at it like this. You have a rookie scale contract that you do not get a chance to talk about or adhere to. You're just signed to that. You sign your rookie scale extension, you're a restricted free agent. This is the first time that you as a player have a chance to control your own destiny. If you're looking at the New Orleans Pelicans And they signed Drew Holiday to a deal, Julius Randle. They've made coaching changes. They've made personnel changes. They've had 7 years to basically get this right while having Anthony Davis under team control. They've had their opportunity, and he's given them an opportunity to build a team around them. They haven't.
Now, listen, I hear what you're saying on there, but should there be more accountability for Anthony Davis as one of the league's best players to make the organization better?
Well, first off, he has to be available. He hasn't played 82 games. I don't think he's played more than 75.
Right.
But how many times can you see that a best player, a top 5, top 10 player, isn't on a perennial playoff contender? I mean, look, we bag on Carmelo Anthony all the time, right? He made the Western Conference Finals. Well, maybe not you. But he made the Western Conference Finals in year 6 because they brought in a veteran named Chauncey Billups to come play with them, be his point guard. Where's the Chauncey Billups type of point guard?
Rondo, he left.
Yeah, and they kept a 1-year deal. Right. So basically, they don't have any sustainability. This thing did not stabilize itself. Right. So where's the accountability? Where's the accountability for the franchise and Dell Demps?
10 before tip number 2, trending. The league reacting to Anthony Davis's trade request. You think he's going to trying to form a super team to try and take down the big bad Warriors?
I don't know. We'll see what happens.
What do you think? What would be? Do you chat with him? Is there advice that you give a guy like that?
I talked to him this morning. Yeah, but he's a good guy. He goes about things the right way. So I think he's just gonna make the best choice for him.
AD wanted to play basketball somewhere else. It's not like the president shutting down the government. It's just basketball. So of course we talk about it, and we all as players. We want guys to do exactly what they want to do in this league. We have a short amount of time, so why not do what you want?
Okay, that was earlier today here at Bankers Life Fieldhouse. Vincent Goodwill, what's it going to take for the Lakers to offer Dell Demps where he says, all right, before next Thursday's trade deadline, here's Anthony Davis?
Nothing and everything. That means Josh Hart, Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, the ghost of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the ghost of James Worthy, retired banners, everything. You leave nothing to chance because the Lakers screwed the pooch with Paul George. You cannot take the risk of doing this again.
Any surprise teams other than the Lakers and the Celtics that you think we'll hear in the mix, whether it be before the Thursday trade deadline or leading up to the draft or in the summer?
Well, let's be clear. I talked to some executives today. They don't believe that the Pelicans will do anything before February 7th. But the New York Knicks are going to be intriguing. Right. Worst record in the league, which means they're going to have a top pick, which means it could be some kid out of Duke. You also have Kevin Knox. You also have Kristaps Porzingis, and there's been some consternation with that relationship there. So when you're talking about assets, Jared, the Knicks are up there. Not with the Celtics necessarily, because nobody has those combination of players and picks. But the Knicks could be sort of a dark horse here.
Vincent Goodwill, Yahoo Sports. Great work as always. Read his coverage. Now we've got some questions for DeMarcus Cousins about his 4 games back and debut with the Warriors.
Feeling, a little more comfortable with everything. It's good to, kind of get my feet up under me throughout these last 4 games. So, still just trying to get comfortable a little more and, learning everything on the fly and getting acclimated with the team. But, I feel good. I'm happy to be back on the floor, and, it's been good so far.
I know it's a really small sample size, but you've been with the team the whole year. Is this the most fun you've ever had playing basketball?
Absolutely. I mean, it's always fun to play for one main goal, which is a championship. It's about winning on a nightly basis. No other personal vendettas or whatever the case may be, and it's fun to play with talent. So I would say this is the most fun.
There's been a lot of talk about in past years the team waiting to flip the switch to the playoffs, but this year it seems like the word that's being used is guys are playing with more joy, and there's a question of whether you've brought that into them, right? Because you're the new piece that you're trying to fit into, and do you take credit for this team playing with more joy now?
Not at all, man. I just come in and try to do my part, do what I can to help this team win games. It's a great group of guys. They play the right way on a nightly basis. I enjoy playing basketball the right way. So,
when do you anticipate getting to play more minutes and kind of letting the minutes restriction or whatever it may be get loose?
So far, kind of graduates per game. So hopefully we can get another little push tonight. We'll have an off day after this. So, hoping I can, push it a little more and max myself out a little more. So we'll see how it goes.
Marcus, with the news that came out earlier today with Anthony Davis, I've always curious to wonder if you've allowed yourself to think if things had worked out with you in New Orleans and you had stayed there long term, do you think about what could have been with you and AD?
I mean, yeah, I've been on record saying it before. We've talked about it. We talk about it all the time. We feel it could have been something special, but that's the past now, and we're both on the bigger and better things now. So.
And now we have answers from DeMarcus Cousins, who will get his 5th start of the season tonight. Warriors and Pacers live at NBA TV, and more live on the Auto Trader pregame next.